and start the process of change.
Jane Hunt.
Thank you very much, Mr. McRae. Many of the points I was going to raise have already been raised, particularly by the wonderful member for Gloucester in his speech earlier on. So I'll just cover off some other points in the short time we have. So I recently went out into Loughborough with the Street Pastors, a Christian organisation that do excellent work in Loughborough and around the country. They offer help and assistance to those on a night out that have lost their friends they came with perhaps, or perhaps a little worse for wear, or indeed have been spiked. While I was out with them, the local police also had a knife arch in place at one of the pubs, and they'd been moving the knife arch from one venue to the next to attract attention to it and introduce people to it. Visitors to the pub, security staff, police and owners were all very much in support of the use of the knife arch, and residents commented to me that it made them feel more safe. So, with this idea in mind, I wonder if the Minister would be interested, I'd be interested to hear his thoughts on a knife arch scheme and the other things that we're going to be talking about now to do with spiking. So prior to the debate, I also contacted Loughborough Students' Union for their views on the matter, and I would like to read out the response from the union's president, Harry Hughes. As much as we don't like to admit it or recognise it, spiking is a serious issue that can have serious consequences for the safety and well-being of our students. It is important for everyone, especially pub and club staff and security, to be aware of the risks of spiking and to take steps to protect themselves and their patrons against the ordeal. It is also important for the general public and students alike to feel comfortable around venue staff and police officers so they are more likely to report any incidents of spiking and seek medical attention as early as possible, giving us a more accurate reading of the current crisis and allowing us to begin to form change. The government, local authorities and licensing authorities need to do more to safeguard our students and the wider population against individuals who commit this crime. We believe more can be done, and student unions across the country are all singing from the same hymn sheet on this issue. He also set out a number of recommendations from the union on how the situation could be improved. So first of all, it would be beneficial for the current Security Industry Authority, the SIA, training to include a section on spiking awareness and go into more detail on the signs and symptoms of spiking. They also feel that greater training is needed for door supervisors on this topic in general to ensure that they are taking each reported concern seriously. Second, the union would like to see Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003 updated to encourage local licensing authorities to consider placing additional conditions on licences to safeguard patrons against spiking. Third, the union are keen to see significant data collection on local licensing authorities' use of their powers to impose conditions or revoke premises licences where venues do not take sufficient measures to protect and provide support to customers in spiking incidents. Fourthly, the union think that local authorities and licensing groups should have the power to enforce the use of pub and club watch schemes, which should be considered mandatory for all venues to be a part of it to ensure that adequate communication takes place, and this could be included to extend student unions that operate a form of pub or nighttime economy. There are varying responses to this issue in towns and cities across the country. Some venues provide little or no support, while others much more so. I believe that ensuring each venue has a spiking response procedure as part of their licensing agreement is key to venue safety, and I would be interested to hear the Minister's thoughts on these suggestions. Thank you.
Yasmin Qureshi.